Good evening. Bernie Giggins here from Energetic Coaching, www.energeticpscoaching.com.au. I'm a spiritual justice and soul truth coach, coaching you to live the life that you are born to live. So today is day 5 of the 30-day challenge, and today I'll be giving you tip 1 of 10 tips. 10 tips to get you to live your authentic self and your beautiful life. So tip 1 today is all about fear and what fear can stop you and control you and keep you from having in your beautiful life. So fear, I call it the paralysis, or sometimes I'll even say the person, I see them as pot-bound in their life. They can't move, they can't take risks, they get caught, they repeat the same patterns, they repeat the same habits and behaviors, or they'll have the same or manifesting health problems as well. A lot of the fear comes from past beliefs. A lot of the fears come from old beliefs that they've held in their life from the past. It could be a past life, or it could be this lifetime. Most of the time I will do this lifetime because I'll always say that I can also clear if it has been a past life as well. So fear blocks you, controls you, constricts you, and keeps you in the same limited situation. Now our mind is only 10%. If you can just imagine, your mind is like a big iceberg, and your mind is only 10% of your conscious mind. Your subconscious, which is is a little bit deeper. Your subconscious is also got probably about 60% in there, and then the lowest part is 30%, and that's your unconscious mind. A lot of these old beliefs are coming from, I usually say, up to the age of 7 or 10. At some stage in your life, you have taken on some sort of a belief about yourself. You've experienced it, you've witnessed it, and you've made it a belief about yourself. One good example of this is a person who wins lotto, and they've been waiting for lotto, and the lotto that they win is the worst nightmare. They can't handle it, and they lose it, they give it away, they get stolen, whatever it is. And when they're finished, they're even less off than what they started with. And that usually comes because when they were younger, they could, that was their limitation. That was how much they had as a child, and their limits won't ever let them go any further what they have. So when they become an adult and they win all this money, then that limitation that belief has formed a big barrier around them and won't allow them to experience anything more until you change the belief. As soon as you change the belief and you change the energy around it, then you're open to receive so much more. So these fears that I'll be doing today, the fear is, it becomes a wish. So the more you think about these fears, and a lot of times the fears are underlying, subconscious or unconscious, as I say, they are buried. So if you can just, rather than just have the thoughts of fears, the fear becomes a wish. If that's all you've got in your consciousness, in your mind, in your thoughts, and your words, your speaking, the people that you mingle with, that's all you're talking about, then that's what you're going to get. So if you can change that fear and add something else in there. Your mind is the genie, and it only goes on the energy that has it in your body, in your mind, and in your thoughts. So if you can change or even put something extra in there, what do you want? You've got everything that you didn't want. How about you change your thoughts, change your patterns, change your habits, and bring in something positive, loving, supportive into your consciousness. Another good one is to write your thoughts down, write the memories down, journal it out. I'll be talking a lot about journaling. This is your personal thoughts. Nobody else gets to read them. This is your memories, your emotions. And all of the old beliefs are nobody asked you how you felt. That emotion, that age, that moment in time is locked into your cellular memory. That cellular memory will never ever change until you go back in and you change it through meditative state, through a practitioner helping you, and that's what I do with my clients. And the third point is to, what's the worst that could happen? What's the worst that could happen? And just keep undoing and then feeling the emotions. You cannot heal if you cannot feel. And a lot of times our fear has put a barrier over our feelings, and so we just have to undo it nice and gently. So they're my tips for today. And now just letting you hear about some of the 0 to hero beautiful relationship stories of my clients. Now, our biggest fear, I was in a country town having a big talk of what I do, and at the end I always have private sessions. So one of the ladies had come and seen me, and then the next morning the husband rang me and said, whatever you did for my wife, it's just been absolutely beautiful. Could you please book me in before you go? And so I saw him. So she was 65, he was 70, and had such a brilliant session. Now he had so much pain in his body at the talk, and the next morning he'd been released a little bit. The pain in his back wasn't as bad, still there, but it was still there. And he ended up having a fantastic release, fantastic session. And he was just so absolutely grateful. And he walked out of there with very little pain. So I rang him up a week later and just see how he was going. And I said, what's the biggest thing that has changed besides the pain being really released? And he said, the biggest thing, Bernie, is I can go to heaven. I've never been allowed to go to heaven. I always had to work harder. And because of my religion, because of all my life I've always been called this, I now can go to heaven. Because at 5 years old, he was raped. And he has held that secret. A lot of his family knew, but couldn't protect him. And so for 65 years, he has held that pain inside his body. And so he said his wife and he have for the last week talked, and so much changed. 6 months later, they sent their daughter to me, who had just come back from overseas. And I said to her, what is the biggest thing that you have ever noticed about your parents? And she said, for 30 years, I have been so jealous and envious of so many other families because there was a lot of alcohol, violence. Mum was very short-tempered, very hard-working, and so I was very envious and jealous of so many other families that they had love and they had connection. And she said, in the last 6 months, I've never ever seen my parents as loving. The whole family have just completely changed, and I just wanted to say thank you. So that's my 0 to hero, one of the many stories that you will hear in the next several days. So thank you, and this is Bernie Giggins from Energetic Coaching, your spiritual justice and soul truth coach, helping you to live the life that you were born to live.